Everybody, this is Algebra 1 Lesson 35, and this lesson covers factoring the greatest common factor and canceling. Alright, so this is just like what we did in the last lesson, except we're going to add another step. So, in this one, we're going to pull out the greatest common factor, and then we're going to write what's left. So if we look at both of these 2's, the greatest common factor there would be 2. And they both have an A, but then they don't have an X or a C, so we're going to pull out the 2A. Now, if we look at this first one, we pulled out the 2 and the A, and the only thing that's left is X. And in this one, we pulled out the 2 and the A, and the only thing that's left is a C. So you just write that part in parentheses. It's basically the opposite of rainbowing. So if we rainbow this, we would get 2AX, and if we rainbow right there, we would get 2AC. So we're just going backwards from rainbowing. Alright, this one has got some exponents in it. So first, we're going to pull out our common factors. So we've got 3 terms here. This is a to the third, a squared, and a to the fourth. So we use the one with the lowest amount of the lowest exponent. So they both have at least 2 a's, right? So we're going to do a squared. And then our x's, we've got a 2, a 1, and a 3. So the lowest number is 1x there. And then for our m's, we've got a 2, a 3, and a 2. So they both got at least m squared. Now we're going to see what's left. So for this first one, we pulled out a squared. We're going to have 1a left. So that'll be a. And then we pulled out one of those x's. We'll have 1x left. And we pulled out 2 of those m's, so we don't have any m's left. Alright, so then we'll go to the next term. A squared, we use both of those. 1x, we use that. M to the third, we have 2. We pulled out 2 m's, so we've got 1 m left. Right there. And then on this last one, we pulled out a squared. That's got a to the fourth, so we're going to have 2 a's left. X to the third, we pulled out 1, so we're going to have x squared left. And then m squared, we used all that. And then we just close our parentheses. Right, so there were 3 terms. 1, 2, 3. Right, and in here we have 3 terms. And if we rainbowed that back out, we would end up with what we started. So if we multiplied that right there, we would have a to the third, x squared, m squared. And then right here, we would have a squared, x, m to the third. And then this last one, we would have a to the fourth, x to the third, m squared. So just back where we started. So we're just doing the opposite of rainbowing. We're undoing the rainbowing. We're pulling out the factors. Alright, this one we've got numbers and letters with exponents. So first we'll look and we see that we have 2 terms. The first, we're going to pull out the number. So the first common factor between 2 and 4 would be 2. Right. For a, we've got our lowest exponent is a squared. B, our lowest exponent is 1b. And then z, our lowest exponent is z to the third. Okay, then we draw our parentheses. Now we're going to look at this one first. Okay, so how many times does 2 go into 4? It goes 2 times, right? Because that was 2 times 2. And we used one of those 2, so there'd be 2 left. A to the third, that will be A, and we already used A, right? So we're going to have 1A left. B, we pulled out 1, so we're going to have 3 B's left, so B to the third, and Z to the third, we used the whole thing on that one. Alright, now for the other part, that has a plus sign in between it right there, so we're going to write plus. we pulled out 2, so we don't need the 2 anymore. We use that up. A squared, we use that. B, we use that. We use 3 of those z's, so there's just going to be 1 z left. And that's the answer, and if we rainbow that back out, we will come back up with what we started. Alright, this one has 3 factors. First, we're going to look at our number. So we've got a 6, a 2, and a 4. 2 will go into all 3 of those, so 2 is our number. And then we just need to find the lowest exponent of a. We've got 2, 3, and 4, so that'd be a squared. The lowest exponent of x, we've got 2, 3, and 3, so that would be x squared. Now I just have to see what's left. So in this first factor, how many times will 2 go into 6? It goes 3 times. We use 2 of those a's and 2 of those x's, so those are all used up. 2 goes into 1 time, so we don't have to write that. We have a squared, and that's a to the third, so there's going to be an a left. And x squared, x to the third, there'll be an x left. How many 2's are in 4? We're on this third factor. How many 2's are in 4? 2 of them. 2 times 2 would be 4. And then we'll have 2 a's left and 1 x. Right? So if we rainbow this back out again, we would say 3 times 2a squared x squared would be 2 times 3 is 6a squared x squared. And then right here, we would say 2a to the third x to the third. And then right there, 2 times 2 is 4. A to the fourth, x to the third. It takes us back. You don't have to do that, but you can do that to double check and make sure you got it right. Your answer is going to look like that. Alright, here is another one. This one has 2 terms. So here's a term and here's a term. We don't have any common number. The lowest number of m's we have is m squared. The lowest number of the x's, oh, this one doesn't have an x, so we can't use x over there. The lowest y we have is 1. Alright, now we got to see what's left in this first term. The 3. We used 2 m's, so we'll have 1 left. We didn't use any x's, so we'll have that. And we used 1 y, so we'll have 1 left. Okay, this one we used 2 m's and the y, so we're going to put plus 1. Because when we rainbow this out, we'll multiply that, we'll get 3m to the third x y squared. And then 1 times m squared y would be m squared y. Right? That's how we get back to that. So if you've used up, if you've factored out everything in one of the terms, you just put 1 there instead. Okay, on this one, we're going to simplify. And we can simplify this because these are factors, right? So if it said 4 plus 3 over 4, we can't cancel that because we can only cancel things that are being multiplied. This is being added, so you cannot cancel that. This one right here is being multiplied, so we can cancel that. So the answer to this is a minus 3. Alright, so on some of these we're going to have to factor first before we can cancel. So on this one, the first step is to factor the top there. So if we look at the top, both of these have a 3. So we could say 3 times p plus 1, right? Because if we rainbow that back out, we would get 3p. 3 times 1 is 3, right? So you factor it first. And then we've got over 3. Now we can cancel. And the answer is p plus 1. Alright, on this one, we're going to factor that top. So we look at the numbers first. 3 and 9. 3 will go into both 3 and 9. And they both have at least one x. Then that would be 1 right there for this first one, right? Because we pulled out the 3 and the x. And then 3 goes into 3. 3 goes into 9 3 times. And then we use 1x, we have another x left. Now we can cancel there, and our answer is 1 minus 3x. Alright, one more. Okay, here we're going to factor that top. So 5 and 25, the factor would be 5, because 5 goes into both of those. They both have at least one x. Okay, and now 5x goes into 5x one time. 5 goes into 25 5 times. And then we pulled 1x. We have 2 x's, so there'll be 1x left. And then we have the bottom is 5xy. Now we can't cancel all that, but we can cancel the 5 and the x. So our answer is going to be 1 minus 5x over y. It's an x right there. That's sloppy. Fix that. Right, because we couldn't cancel that y. There were no y's on the top. Alright, go ahead and pause the video and work the practice problems, and then I'll work them for you. Alright, practice A. For A, we have 15a squared z to the 8th minus 35 z to the 5th a. Alright, so first we're going to find our common factors. So for 15 and 35, let's see, 15 times 2 would be 30. That won't work. I think it's going to be 5. We'll go into 15 and 35. For our a's, we have at least one a. And our z's, 8 and 5, we would have 5 z's. It's our lowest exponent. Alright, so for this first factor, 5 goes into 15 3 times. A goes into a squared. We're going to have one a left, one time. And then z to the 5th, we have z to the 8th minus z to the 5th. We're going to have z to the 3rd. Okay, and then our next factor right here, there's a minus sign, so I'm going to put minus. And then 7 times 5 is 35. Z to the 5th, we use that, and we use the a. So there's the answer to that one. Okay, B has 2a squared b squared plus 2a to the 3rd b to the 3rd plus 2a to the 3rd b to the 6th. So we got 3 factors on this one. Alright, so first we're going to look at our numbers. 2 will go into all those, so it's 2. Then we'll look at the a's. That's squared, 3rd, and 3rd, so it'll be a squared. And then our b's, 2, 3, and 6. The lowest one's 2. Okay, now we got to see what's left. So for this first term, we use the 2. We use both a's, and we use both b's, so it would just be 1. When we use everything up, we would just write a 1. For this next term, we use the 2. We use 2 a's, so we're going to have 1 a left, and we use 2 b's, so we'll have 1 b left. Okay, and last term, we use the 2. We use 2 of the a's, so we'll have 1 left. Then we use 2 of the b's, so we'll have b to the 4th left. So that is the answer to that one. Okay, for C, C is 4 minus 4x over 4. So what we have to do is factor the top first, so they both have a 4, and that's pretty much it. So we used up the 4, so we're just going to write a 1 for that first term. The second term, we're just going to have x left. These two cancel, so your answer is 1 minus x. Just this top part would be the answer. Alright, and then D has 7x minus 49, x squared over 7x. Alright, so for both of these terms, they both have a factor of, let's say 7 will go into both 7 and 49, and they both have an x. Alright, so we used up everything from 7x, so that'll be 1. And then 7 times 7 is 49, and then we'll have an x left over 7x. That's going to cancel the 7 and the x, and our answer is going to be 1 minus 7x. Alright, that is it for lesson 35. Thanks for watching.